I was wondering about the Eastern mystics and the Western mystics. And the Eastern mystics die young. They're very healthy, and they usually don't hang out very long. The Catholic mystics are like Volvos. They run badly forever. And, and does anybody have a Volvo here? I've had two, but you know, they're getting better. Anyway, and the reason is that the belief system of the Eastern in general is some karmic event that once you've done your job, that's it, you're gone and move on. The Christians, you have to suffer before you find, and you have to, and especially with the medieval mindset, most of the mystics, St. Teresa, and had seizures, and St. John of the Cross had all kinds of dermatological problems, and the suffering is part of the process. So you see, you have to be very careful how you want to age, because aging is abnormal. Growing older is normal. And the culture is what's going to age you, not so much the genes. Yeah, of course, there's some genetic predispositions and parameters, but basically you're aging based on what the culture says. And this comes from research with centenarians, people that have lived over 100 years. All over the world, there are consistencies about centenarians. There's some, the Tarahumara Indians in Mexico, the Cobamba in Ecuador, in the Caucasus, and there's 75,000 centenarians in this country. They're the fastest segment, the fastest growing segment of the population, centenarians. There were 7,500 in 1973, and there's 75,000 now. And they're healthy. They're not in nursing homes, and most of them are very poor. Not that being poor is good. It's not good. It's just that they had to learn some things under fire. But centenarians, the consistent thing across cultures are several variables. One is that the culture supports that growing older you get better. They're sexually active in their 90s. They don't have prostate problems and ovarian and osteoporosis. They don't have any of those problems. One, they're not trying to live forever. They're not worried about living. They just live. Some of them smoke. Some of them drink. You will die faster eating tofu with fear than cheeseburgers without fear, because the immune suppression comes from the fear. And also it tells you that, for example, in the Caucasus, they eat a lot of fattening foods. And Harvard studied, some cardiologists from Harvard studied these people. And the centenarians from the Caucasus have some tachycardia. They have terrible cholesterol, and they're still fine, and they're riding horses and all that. So the internal system is breaking down, but they're superimposing their culture. The ones on this side have great cardiovascular system. They eat very little fat, and they have a different kind of lifestyle. So, and I'm not saying that you should eat fattening foods, but I'm saying that there's a super immunity that occurs when you have joy in your life and when your culture supports it. The Tarahumara believe that as you grow older, you become faster at running, because they have a game called pelota, and they play this game, and they could run up to 200 miles. The cardiologists from Harvard study these people, and they thought, well, it's 60. And they found that the best cardiovascular systems of people in about 60 to 65, not as the 20s and the 30s were not as good as the people in their 60s. The culture supports that, and the culture has to support it. This is why placebo only works for a period of time. Placebo is the first stage of the self-healing process. But for placebo to continue to trigger and maintain its process of healing, the culture has to support it.